Goblins. That's all. Just goblins. Hello, and I know it's been a minute, but I am back today with some more pre-modern for all of you, and I am playing everybody's favorite little red men, I guess you could say. I am playing goblins. Now, I'm not going to go super in-depth on this deck tech. It's a well-known deck in the format. It is one of the top decks of the format. It is a aggro tribal synergy deck that has a lot of utility to be able to play multiple roles, whether it's aggro, playing a controlling role, or in some cases feeling almost combo-esque, but it's a well-known entity in the format, so I don't feel like I really got to go super in-depth on the deck tech here. Basically, we're just trying to use the synergy of all the various goblins in this deck to overwhelm our opponent and close the game out. Sideboard is just a bunch of stuff to deal with what you see in the meta. Pyroblast for blue decks, Pyrokinesis for creature decks, Anarchy for white decks, a bunch of enchantment hate in the form of Naturalize and Tranquil Domain, and some graveyard hate in Tormod's Crypt. So the sideboarding should be pretty straightforward as far as what we want to bring in. Taking out is going to be a little bit more difficult because this deck very much relies on synergy. So it's going to be a little interesting trying to work my way through the meta and figure out what I can take out to make room for the cards that we need in any particular matchup. If you like this video, do me a favor, drop a like and a comment below, and be sure to sub to the channel to know when my videos go live. As an added bonus, when the channel hits 500 subs, I will offer free donation deck lists to everybody for all of the following month. So if you want to see your deck played on the channel, make sure you hit that sub button below if you haven't already. With that all said, let's go play some Magic. Okay, it took me a minute to finally record this, but here we go with some pre-modern goblins. With that said, I think we're going to keep this and give it a shot. We have a little bit of removal to slow down the early game and work our way up to the Siege Gang Commander. We only need one more land to get there. Opponent mulligan 2-5 into a forest and passing the turn. Okay. Alright, Pile Driver's good. We will play a Wooded Foothills and crack it since we have another one to go get our green and we have our Kerplusin Forest if we need them. So let's just mildly thin the deck a bit to grab a land out of it, play a Bog Fanatic, and pass the turn. Brush land from the opponent into an Oath of Druids. Well, that's going to be a little problematic, I'm not going to lie. The question is this a Terravore Oath deck? Or is this a Angel Oath deck? So, like, we kind of just have to play into this because there's no way we can win without playing creatures. And we can maybe flood the board enough that we can Gem Palm Incinerate or something. So, unfortunately, I think we are just kind of playing into it at this point. Like, we could attack with the Bog Fanatic, sack the Bog Fanatic with the Oath of Druids trigger on the stack. This is also going to give us information for sideboarding, because if this is Terravore Oath, we can board in our... What the fuck is this thing? We can board in our Tormod's Crypts to kill the Terravores, but... Croson Restore, untap a land, untap 3 target lands, only if there are 7 or more creatures in the graveyard. Okay. That is a little different. We played a City Brass as well. We hit our forest, so we could just Gem Palm Incinerator this thing, get some more damage through, or we could play Goblin Matron to go find something and start trying to go as wide as possible. I don't hate Matron into Lackey, but I think we're going to push our damage for right now and see what we draw. And we draw a Wasteland, which isn't terrible. I think because we're not playing anything else this turn, we will go ahead and Wasteland, take out the Brushland. And opponent's floating some blue to cast a Peek. Okay, they can see my hand. And then we will move to combat and hit them for 4. I'm very scared what they can Oath out, but if Croson Restorer is their Oath target, I'm not actually super scared of that. See what they hit this time. Okay, Phantom Nishoba. We literally cannot beat that. Yeah, we're going to scoop it up. We literally cannot beat a Phantom Nishoba. So we are bringing in all of our... whatchamacallit here, Enchantment Hay. I think we can probably take out Sharpshooter. We can probably take out Tinkerer. I've been trimming down a little bit on Siege Gang Commanders just because it's high-end stuff, and then since they're not really going to have a lot of small creatures, I think that Croson Restorer was kind of just a fluke. I think that's supposed to be a setup card. We will take out one Gem Palm Incinerator, and we will try something like this. Okay, we got a Tranquil Domain. I like that. We can keep this. And we have a Goblin Lackey on one. And I think we're going to start off with the Wooded Foothills. It's 2 damage over 2 turns, regardless of how we do this. Either we take the damage from the Kerplucent Forest on 1. Well, actually, it's 3 damage if we do that, because we would have tapped it. Then we tap it next turn to play both Mog Fanatics. So this actually saves us 1 life. Play our Lackey. Hope that we draw something good we can cheat into play here. And opponent plays a Gemstone Mire, passes the turn. We hit another Wooded Foothills. Well, we will play a Mountain. We will play a Mog Fanatic. And we will get him with Goblin Lackey, make him think we have something here. And we will put in another Mog Fanatic. And we will pass the turn. Brush land for the opponent. Is this going to be an Oath? Unnatural Selection. Choose a creature type other than wall. Target creature becomes that type until end of turn. Okay, so this isn't just like a straight Oath deck. This is interesting, to say the least. Okay, we hit a Goblin Matron. I think we can take a turn off to Matron to get something crazy onto the battlefield. Or we can go... We could just attack, put Matron in for free, grab something to set up next turn. That way we hold up Tranquil Domain to be able to respond to an activation of this. The Goblin Matron now line is much faster, but I think we're going to hold up this Tranquil Domain just to be safe. I can put Goblin Matron in. Yes, we will use its ability. What do we want to put in now? We could grab Siege Gang Commander, just go wide as hell. We could Goblin Ringleader next turn to reload. I don't hate that. We could grab Goblin King to pump all of our stuff and then go for an Alpha Strike next turn, but I don't think we have enough damage if we do that. I think we're going to grab a Ringleader, and we're going to pass the turn. Griffin Canyon, untap target Griffin, and an Elephant Grass. Okay. So what we could do here is just go ahead and Tranquil Domain, or we could attack with just Goblin Lackey, put Ringleader in, and still hold this up. And I think that's actually a pretty decent plan here. We have a Wasteland, so we could always blow something up, but then we drop our Tranquil Domain. I think we will play Wooded Foothills. We will get in with just the Lackey. Refuel with our Ringleader here. We're still holding up Tranquil Domain. This is causing them to drop mana into this Elephant Grass. Wow, a straight whiff off of the Ringleader. That is disappointing. Okay. And now we're forcing them to dump some mana into this Elephant Grass, so it's tapping them down a bit. We can Wasteland away something next turn. Oh, they're just letting it go. Okay. A City of Brass. They could have counter magic. We saw a peak earlier. Is this a Wrath of God? It is. Okay, well, we can go ahead and ping them for 2 here. We lose our creatures. They've only got 3 cards in hand. We still don't super care about this unnatural selection at the moment. We will go grab another Mountain and another Tranquil Domain. So we will play Wasteland. And I think we're going to go ahead and take out... This looks like a combo piece here. They're going to lose the Gemstone Mine, and their other 2 lands cause them damage. You have a Maya Coast, okay. We hit a Skirk Prospector, so we'll just play it. Anything to get something on the board to be able to attack and pressure with. Crop Rotation, okay. They're grabbing another Griffin Canyon. Yes, they are, okay. Trickery Clam. Or Trickery Charm. Wow, Clam. I saw the scallop shell there and thought that's what it was. Look at the top 4, put them back in any order. Okay. So they're looking for whatever their missing combo piece is, but we can go ahead and cast Tranquil Domain in response to something to be able to kill the unnatural selection. And they're going to Crop Rotation again. They have 0 cards in hand. And this is also clearing whatever was on top of their library, so they're drawing blind now. Grabbing a basic forest. Okay. And they just drew a land. Okay, that's buying us some time. I have no idea what our opponent is doing over there. We hit a Naturalize. Well, we're going to see if this is a little Skirk Prospector that could here. They've only got 2 lands that don't damage themselves. And they're passing the turn. Okay. Well, I'm going to take the chance now to just kill this. So if they have counter magic, it's getting it out of their hand now, and we have 2 backups, but it looks like that just resolved. A mountain, okay. Well, 7-turn clock continues. Another land. I think our opponent's getting a little unlucky here. We draw a Goblin Matron, so I will go ahead and cast this. And I think this time I am going to go ahead and grab a War Chief with the plan of playing that next turn. Down to 5. I just want to hold these Tranquil Domains up at all times just to be able to try to respond to something. Another crop rotation. Okay, trying to thin their deck out. Another Griffin Canyon. And opponent scoops it up. Okay. I don't think we're going to change anything. I think we're just going to run it back. I could bring in Anarchy as a way to deal with a resolved Neshoba. And it's really going to be our only way to deal with that. So I actually think... I don't know. I'm real iffy bringing it in just as, like, the only option I have up against the Neshoba if they resolve it. But I think we're just going to try to keep the Neshoba from ever hitting the battlefield with these naturalizes. I think we're just going to run it back. Okay. Unfortunately, we do not have green mana available to us at the moment, but we will keep this because we have the Tranquil Domain and the Naturalize. Brushland from the opponent, passes the turn. I'm hoping we draw something so we can round out our colors here. Another Goblin Lackey. I think we're just going to play the Wooded Foothills and pass here. It's really, really risky to go grab red and not have access to green mana. And opponent's going to Enlighten Tutor. I'm assuming this is going to be for an Oath of Druids. It is, okay. So we have the answer to Oath of Druids. It just locks us out of our current spells. So we will see what we draw at the top of our deck before we fire this thing off. Okay, we hit a Wooded Foothills. I like that. We are going to go ahead, grab a mountain, grab a forest, and blow this up before there's any creatures on the battlefield, and they have access to any kind of counter magic. They have another Oath of Druids. Okay, well, we have an answer for that. We hit a Goblin War Chief, so we could blow up this Gemstone Mine. We could blow up a Griffin thing. We have the Tranquil Domain to be able to kill the Oath of Druids. We could Tranquil Domain and then Goblin Lackey, which I think we're going to do. Alright, they appear to not have counter magic at the moment. If they have a third Oath of Druids already, we have problems. They're going to peek at our hand, that's fine. Another Griffin Canyon. And passing the turn, we hit another Tranquil Domain, so we will play another Goblin Lackey out. Then we'll move to combat, hit them with our current Goblin Lackey, and we will put War Chief onto the battlefield and pass the turn. They could Wrath of Goddess here, which would be annoying but not the end of the world. A third Griffin Canyon. It looks like they're passing the turn. And we hit another Goblin Lackey. Well, let's play on a Mog Fanatic. It has haste, so it can get some more damage in. And then we will attack with everything. I'm going to hold on to this second Goblin Lackey. They already know about the Mog Fanatic, so I'm just going to put it into play. I'm going to hold on to the second Lackey so that if they do find a Wrath of God, we can try to rebuild. Unnatural Selection, okay. And they're passing the turn. We hit another mountain, so let's play the mountain. Get in with everything. This is a 2-turn clock. And then we will not put anything into play. And then I'm kind of tempted to just blow up this Gemstone Mine now. I think we're going to. I know it goes away if they use it again, but this cuts them down to just green and white, and they now don't have double white to be able to Wrath of God. And it greatly limits what they theoretically could play here. It also cuts them off of blue for any potential counter magic. And opponent skips it up on the board already. All right, lost the die roll. This is... I think we can do better. I'm going to mulligan this one. Okay, we can keep this. We will put back the Naturalize, and we'll see if multiple Goblin Pile Drivers and finding some mana will be enough to get us through this. A Swamp from the opponent. Into a Duress. Behold, opponent, there are no non-creature spells in our hand. And we hit a Goblin Tinkerer. Well, if they're an artifact deck, that will be good, but we'll play Mountain and pass for now. That said, if they have a Cabal Therapy, that is going to be pretty devastating. And that is a Cabal Therapy. Say goodbye to our pile drivers. Yep, name pile driver. Little unfortunate. But they appear to be mana screwed, so that helps us. We do have this Tinkerer we can play, which turns on our Gem Palm Incinerator. Another mana, and we could play the Goblin King. We can always cycle the Incinerator with no targets just for the sake of trying to draw a card. But opponent's missing land drops and not doing anything. We hit a Goblin Matron we can't do anything with. So let's get in with the Tinkerer and pass the turn. If they do nothing, we might just cycle this Incinerator with no targets. Alright, opponent's missing land drops. I still want to hold on to this Gem Palm Incinerator. I'm getting like Moneyball vibes from this. Alright, Karplusan Forest. We will go ahead and play our Goblin King. Make our Tinkerer an actual threat now. And opponent is still missing lands. That is unfortunate. I guess we'll see what they discard to try to get a better idea. Nether Spirits. Okay, so that can come back. We hit another Goblin Matron. I think we're just going to get in. And then Nether Spirit's going to be a 2-2. We can still profitably attack into that. I think we will play the Matron with the plan to go grab a War Chief, probably. Yeah, let's grab a War Chief. That'll make our subsequent spells cheaper. They can get the Nether Spirit back. We can attack with these creatures, just hold back the Goblin King, because it's kind of irrelevant at this point. Okay, they have another one. Zombie Infestation. Okay, I see what they're doing here. And they're sacrificing their Nether Spirit. They're probably grabbing our War Chief here. And they can make 3 zombies? Yep, name the War Chief. Okay, so I see what they're doing with this deck now. They can make 3 zombies. And we draw a Goblin Lackey. So let's play the Lackey. They know about the Gem Palm Incinerator. We can profitably attack with Tinkerer and Goblin Matron for now. They can make some zombies. We can kill one of them to cycle. And that'll put them down 4 cards if they want to make 2 zombies to block these with. Alright, they're not even bothering. That's fine then. Alright, they're getting the Nether Spirit back. That's fine. And it looks like they're just going to pass the turn. I'm not going to bother incinerating this Nether Spirit. We hit a Goblin War Chief. I think we're just going to get in and see what they want to do here. Alright, they're going to block the Goblin Lackey, take 4. I think that's fine. And smother the Goblin King. Okay, so they're going to take 2. We can save this by killing the Nether Spirit, but it just comes back. But I don't hate it for the sake of being able to draw a card. We hit a Wooded Foothills, so we can play that. We are 1 mana away from getting the Siege Gang Commander down, and that is a way to kill our opponent through what's going to essentially be an endless stream of blockers. A Cabal Therapy, well, that probably means our Siege Gang Commander's gone then. Yep, Siege Gang Commander is gone. We can't play a Matron to get it back, but they have a Cabal Therapy. So they can always get it back for free off of this Nether Spirit, which it looks like that's what they're doing. Taking our Matron so that we can't go get another, whatchamacallit here. And then, is this another Cabal Therapy? No. Chromatic Sphere, okay. Well, we could actually kill that, but they still get to draw a card off of it anyways. They can make 2 blockers now. And we hit a Mog Fanatic. So I think we just have to go wide and swing here. We'll grab another mountain. Play our Mog Fanatic. We kind of just have to go wide, try to get through this. They can only make 2 blockers at the moment. And it will empty most of their hand. Alright, they're chucking a Pernicious Deed and an Innocent Blood to make a blocker. Are they going to chuck 2 more cards to make another blocker? Yes, another Zombie Infestation and a Skeletal Scrying. They're going to block a Lackey, that's fine, and block the War Chief. So this is 3 damage getting through. And we take out one of their blockers. They get the Nether Spirit back for free, and they can make another blocker after that. Opponent is at 4. A Rishadan Port. Okay, so they can't make any new blockers. I mean, I suppose they can if they want to crack this chromatic sphere. For green mana, interesting. Oh, into a pernicious deed. Okay. The nice part is they have to take out their own zombie infestation to make this do anything. And we hit a wooded foothills. I think we're just gonna play that past the turn. We can try to get 1 damage through, but they can just block 2 things, kill both of them. They're not incentivized to pop this pernicious deed anymore. All right, opponent's holding back on defense. That's good for us at the moment. And they're going to tap down our Kerplusen Forest. Okay. We hit a Goblin Matron. Well, let's play that. And I think we're actually going... So we can grab Sharpshooter here and hope that they don't have a way to get rid of it. And then that's 100% going to force them to pop the deed. We could just grab a Siege Gang Commander and hope that we hit a land. We could grab a Goblin Ringleader with the plans on playing that next turn. I do not see any Cabal Therapies in the yard. I think we're going to go ahead and grab a Ringleader and pass the turn here. Try to refuel with this Ringleader. And this is something we can cast even if they port us down for a turn. A Llanowar Waste, that's fine. And they just let us draw a mountain. Interesting. They do have the mana to be able to pop this deed for 4 now. And all we hit is a Mog Fanatic. Okay. And I think we are going to go ahead and play it. I think we are going to grab a forest here just so we have 2 green sources if we need it. And this is 2 damage on board. This is incentivizing them to pop this deed, but it gets rid of their zombie infestation in the process. And it looks like that is indeed what they're doing here. They are popping the deed. We will pop them down to 2. They have 2 cards in hand. They lost their zombie infestation, though. They do get their Nether Spirit back. And if I draw Siege Gang Commander, I still can do it. Phyrexian Furnace, I don't care about that. Go ahead and start eating my graveyard. And I think they're popping it to draw a card here. Yes. And I hit a Goblin Lackey, so we will play that out. This disincentivizes them from attacking. And opponent plays a land. I'm pretty sure we still have 2 Mog Fanatics in the deck to be able to get the last bit of damage in. We're actually going to hold on to that. There's not really anything we need to port down at the moment. A Mishra's Factory, okay. We also still have the Sharpshooter. Gonna tap down one of our lands, that's fine. Well, we actually can get in here. Hit them to 1. So now they're going to be disincentivized from basically doing anything at the moment. They can't risk attacking with the Nether Spirit because they don't have a blocker if they do. Chromatic Sphere, that's a redraw. This also shuts off their green mana entirely at the moment, other than this sphere. Making black mana, playing another port. So they can port down our port, but we can port the factory in response. So they're not attacking with the Nether Spirit. I'm pretty sure if we hit a Siege Gang Commander, we just win. Yeah, we'll let that go. That's fine. We're not attacking unless we find a Siege Gang Commander here. Yep, that's fine. Tap down another land. We have another one in hand. And we hit a Ringleader, so let's go ahead and cast that. Try to refuel here. Okay, Lackey, and Siege Gang Commander. And then I will play a Mountain, play a Lackey, play another Lackey. And I think this allows us to go wide of what our opponent's doing here. And they scoop it up. Okay. So against what our opponent's doing here, yet again, I think we need the Naturalizes in, and I think Pyrokinesis might not be a bad idea here. That being said, everything in our deck seems pretty good here. We can probably take out the Tinkerer, maybe trim 1 Siege Gang Commander. Maybe we don't need to bring in the extra Naturalizes, but I feel like we definitely want to be able to take out the, whatchamacallits, the zombie infestations. The Pyrokinesis might be a bit much. Maybe we only bring in 2 instead of all 3. And then they're going to clog up the board pretty easily. I think we can trim a Goblin Lackey. Maybe we just trim 2 Goblin Lackeys, because they're going to be able to flood the board with zombies to be able to block those pretty easily. So let's try something like that. Okay, we got a decent little curve here. We can keep this. We got a bunch of disruptions, so unfortunately, again, we're in the situation where, like, we don't have access to both of our colors at the moment. An opponent plays a swamp into a chromatic sphere. So we'll have to see what we draw to see if we want to go fetch a red source or fetch a green source. We hit a mountain, so that makes it a lot easier. We can play the mountain, play the Skirk Prospector, pass the turn. A Rishadan Port. Okay. I'm sure they're going to port down our mountain here, which is totally fine. We hit a Goblin Ringleader. We still do have 2 mana if we want to sacrifice a Skirk Prospector. We actually have 2 mana if we want to play the Wooded Foothills as well, so I think we're going to play that just to be able to hold up Naturalize in case they have a zombie infestation. And we will get him for 1 with our Prospector. A Mistress Factory, that's what I've been saving this Wasteland for. And Innocent Blood. Well, I guess we're losing the Skirk Prospector. And I'm assuming they're going to port down our mountain again, which is fine. Yep, porting down our mountain. I don't think that's what we're doing this turn anyways. We hit a Karplusan Forest. Well, I think we're going to play Wasteland, take out this Mistress Factory while we can, and then pass the turn. We have a second red source or a green source here. A second swamp, that's fine. They're probably going to port down our mountain again, which, again, is fine. I'm a little worried about an Engineered Plague or something similar. Yep, porting down our red again, that's fine. We hit a Siege Gang Commander. Well, we'll grab our Karplusan Forest, and then do we want to run out the Pile Driver yet, is the question. I think we do, and we are going to go ahead and grab a green source here, just so they can't port us off of any color entirely. Opponent is cracking their sphere for green into a Pernicious Deed. Well, we actually have an answer for that. However, it is our only answer to a zombie infestation. I think I'm willing to lose my board if they have another land, because we have so much stuff that we can bring back in later. So we'll get in for a 1, and then we'll play a Ringleader to refuel here. A single Ringleader, okay. That's another reload at least. And they need another land to be able to actually kill this Ringleader, which they do have. And if they want to pop their board, I'm actually pretty okay with that, because essentially time walks them in the process. We hit another mountain. We will play the mountain. Let's get in. Are they popping Deed now, or are they casting a Smother? They're going to cast a Smother. Okay. And they're going to Rishadan Port the mountain. Okay, that's totally fine. We'll get in with this Ringleader. We will play another Ringleader. Try to refuel again. Okay, there we go. Double Pile Driver and a War Chief. I like that. This very much incentivizes them to pop this Pernicious Deed. They do have 5 mana now. And there's the zombie infestation. They can only make 1 blocker, and if they pop their Deed, they lose the infestation as well. And we hit a Pyrokinesis. Well, let's start out with taking out the zombie infestation. This is going to incentivize them to pop the D. Wow, they're actually making blockers first? That is surprising. We will play a port, then we will get in, and then we will play a Pile Driver. They know about both of these Pile Drivers. This incentivizes them to just kind of go all out, and then we can drop our bigger stuff. So I'm willing to sacrifice these Pile Drivers to get them to pop this Deed. Cabal Therapy, what are they going to name? They know about the War Chief. Yep, name the War Chief. And they do have enough mana to be able to pop this Deed to wipe up our whole board, so we're not going to do anything pre-combat. We could also try to port down a land so that they can't actually pop it. So they have to pop it now if they're going to do anything. Okay. So we got them to pop that. That's fine. We will play a Goblin Lackey and play out our Goblin King, pass the turn. Cabal Therapy, that's going to take Siege Gang Commander. Yep, taking our Siege Gang. That's mostly fine. We still have a Pyrokinesis to wipe up the board if they manage to find anything. They have no green mana to be able to get another Pernicious Deed down. And we still have a 4-turn clock, or a 4-power clock here. And we hit a mountain. Let's keep that in hand. Just get in with these. Nothing to put in. Kind of just keep some mystery so they don't know exactly what's in our hand at the moment. 3 mana to cast their Nether Spirit. That's fine. We can kill that if we need to. Gonna port down my port. That's okay. We hit another mountain. And unfortunately, we're going to pass a turn here. I don't really want to cast this Pyrokinesis just to get 4 damage in at the moment, because of the fact that 4 damage isn't going to kill them, and they're just going to get the Nether Spirit back. They could sack the Nether Spirit to take our Pyrokinesis if they wanted to. Alright, they're just holding back on defense for now, which is fine. That's kind of exactly what we want to see at the moment. Porting our port, that is fine as well. And we hit a War Chief, so let's play that. And we can get in with the War Chief without it dying, so we are going to go ahead and do that. Alright, they're just going to block with the Nether Spirit, that's fine. We do have 7 damage on board. A Wasteland, okay. Taking out our Rishadan port, that's totally fine. And now they're flashing back to Cabal Therapy to take the Pyrokinesis, which also is totally fine. And an Innocent Blood. Okay, well, we will sack the Goblin Lackey. We don't care about that at the moment. And they're going to port down a land. That's fine. They could have a Smother as their last card. We do have a Gem Palm Incinerator, which we will hold on to. We will get in for 5. And now we have a removal spell for the Nether Spirit to try to go for lethal next turn. And opponent is passing the turn. We are going to go ahead and cycle this to kill the Nether Spirit. Draw a card. Okay, they do have something. Contagion. Distribute 2 -2 -1 counters. Okay. Okay, that does allow it to survive, but we got a Pyrokinesis out of the deal, so we still can kill it. And we hit another Gem Palm Incinerator. So I hate to do this, but we want to get the damage through. Our opponent's at 3. They get their Nether Spirit back. They've only got 2 cards in hand. We have a Gem Palm Incinerator. They do have a Cabal Therapy. Going to tap down a mountain. That is fine. We hit another mountain. We can't really do anything here, so I think we're just going to go ahead and play the mountain and pass the turn. We can always cycle this Gem Palm Incinerator for just a card and no damage if we need to. Opponent seems to just be hitting lands, which is fine. I think if we hit a Siege Gang Commander, we kind of just win. A Rishadan port, we will play that, pass the turn. And they're going to tap down my port. Okay. A Tainted Woodland. Into a Pernicious Deed. Okay. I think we still have all of our Mog Fanatics to be able to burn them out with. A Wooded Foothills. Well, we will play that. Pass the turn. Another land from the opponent. A Karplusan Forest. Okay, well, we're kind of just flooding out here, which is a little annoying. 5 mana for something. Haunting Echoes. Exile all cards from their graveyard other than basic lands. Okay, well, we don't have any Mog Fanatics in the graveyard, and this greatly reduces our deck size, so the chances of us hitting a Mog Fanatic is much, much higher. We only have 14 cards left in deck. We still have 4 Mog Fanatics. Alright, they're getting in with the Nether Spirit. That's fine. And then they're popping the Deed. That also is fine. I think we can go ahead and crack this Wooded Foothills just to thin our deck even a little bit more. Yeah, we still got all 4 Mog Fanatics. We hit a Goblin Matron, so let's play a Karplusan Forest. Play Goblin Matron. Search out a Mog Fanatic. Play the Mog Fanatic. Pass the turn. A Chromatic Sphere, that's fine. Cracking the Sphere for a redraw. They're probably looking for another Deed. They did find a Deed, okay. And we will go ahead and cycle this Gem Palm Incinerator. And they're popping the Deed now? Yes. Okay. Well, we will ping them to 2. We get to cycle. We drew a land. We hit a Karplusan Forest. We will play the mountain, pass the turn. We have 9 cards and 3 Mog Fanatics left. Typically, Haunting Echoes is a 1-of. And opponent's passing the turn. We hit a Karplusan Forest. We will pass the turn. They can kill us if the bottom 3 cards are the Mog Fanatics. Because this is a 8-turn clock, and we have 8 cards in hand, or in deck. And opponent played a Chromatic Sphere, is cycling it into an Engineered Plague. I don't think we can beat that because our Mark Fanatics are just going to die. All right, going on to game 3. All right, I think we just run it back. All right, this hand does Jack and shit. We are going to mulligan that. Okay, I don't hate this. We can keep this. I think we're going to bin the Wasteland for now. And we're going to start off with a Mountain into a Lackey. And hope we draw something good to put onto the battlefield with this Lackey other than a Goblin Pile Driver. Swap from the opponent, pass the turn. No? Chromatic Sphere, okay. Give me something good to put in. Okay, Goblin Matron's not bad. We can play the Forest, play a Pile Driver, attack with all creatures, hit with the Lackey, put the Matron into play. Unfortunately, this tells them exactly what to name with a, whatchamacallit here, a Cabal Therapy if they have one, but I think we're going to grab a Siege Gang Commander and just try to go as aggro as possible here. If they have the Cabal Therapy, that sucks, but it is what it is. And we have a relatively fast clock on top of it. A Rishadan Port, and it does not look like they have the Cabal Therapy, but they could have a Smother? Alright, Goblin Ringleader. Okay, they do have a Smother. That's mostly fine. We can still attack in for a decent amount of damage here. Swing in for 4. That's fine. Pass the turn. I'm 1 mana away from this Ringleader. I can Emergency Pyrokinesis if I need to. I'm a little worried about an Engineered Plague here. Alright, they are cracking Chromatic Sphere. Are they playing a Pernicious Steed? Nope, Engineered Plague. Okay. We hit another Ringleader and no mana. Yeah, unless we find a way to clear this Engineered Plague, or we find some more mana to be able to go wide with Goblin Ringleaders, I think we might just be dead here. They're going to tap down a mountain. Okay. That is a War Chief I can't do anything with. So I will pass the turn. They have enough mana to be able to blow up our board if they find a Pernicious Steed. Land for the opponent. Porting down our mountain yet again. Okay. Into a Karplusan Forest. Well, with that, we will go ahead and play a Goblin War Chief. And then we will get in. I'm assuming they have a Smother or something here. Yep, Smother on the War Chief. Okay. Another land from the opponent in passing. A Rishadan Port, and they don't even bother to port me down here. Well, we'll play the Ringleader, see if we can refuel a little bit. A Matron and a Sharpshooter. The Sharpshooter at least can live. And then we will try to get in, see if they have another Smother. Actually, I thought the Sharpshooter was a 1-2, but apparently not. Contagion to wipe my board. Okay. We're at least running them out of shit to do, which is helpful. Well, we will ship the turn. They can just do whatever they want here. Haunting Echoes. Well, there goes our other Ringleader, but there's... Apparently there were Matrons in there? Yes, there was. Okay. So War Chiefs, Ringleaders, Pile Drivers, Matrons, and Lackeys are all gone now. We hit a mountain. Well, we will play that. We will play a Ringleader, see what we can hit off of this. Unfortunately, there goes a Naturalize, but we can get a Fanatic and a Prospector. And we do have a clock on the battlefield. I can Goblin Matron to go get a Goblin King so that my stuff can at least live. And a second Engineered Plague. Jesus, okay. So I need both of my Naturalizes now. Well, that's a Rishadan Port. That doesn't do anything at the moment, so we will pass. And opponent's just passing the turn as well. Well, there's a Wasteland. We can just play that and pass. I don't super care about that at the moment. We did bring in all of our Naturalizes, right? Yes, we have 4 Naturalizes. Opponent's paying 6 mana for something. Skeletal Scrying? Apparently I should have brought in the Tranquil Domains. Yes, that was a Skeletal Scrying. We will ship the turn. And a Contamination. I literally don't think we have a way out of this, because this taps for black mana now? Yeah, okay. Good game, opponent. Just managed to lock us out onto the next round. So we can work our way up to this Goblin ringleader and try to be a little disruptive in the process. So I think we're going to try to keep this. We will play a mountain and pass the turn. And opponent plays a Caves of Koilos into a duress. Behold, opponent, we have no non-creature spells. We hit a Karplusan Forest. I think we will play our Rishin Import, play our Goblin Piledriver. This could probably be Dead Guy Ale, if I had to take a guess just based off of the first turn. A Llanowar Waste. Okay, no. So, Gerard's Verdict. Discards 2 cards. You gain 3 life for each land discarded this way. Well, I guess you are going to go ahead and gain some life here, opponent. We hit a Karplusan Forest. We will play a Wasteland. We will waste their white source. And then we will move to combat, hit with the Piledriver. And then we're going to port down the Llanowar Wastes. And ship the turn. Another Llanowar Wastes. We got a Mog Fanatic. Well, we'll play a Karplusan Forest, play the Mog Fanatic, move to combat, hit with the Piledriver, and ship the turn. So this is probably a version of the Rock, if I had to take a guess. We'll port down one of those Llanowar Wastes into a Gemstone Mine, and opponent is shipping the turn. Okay. I smell a Smother or something similar. We hit a Goblin Matron. Well, let's get in an attack. No, Swords to Plowshares. Okay. Well, we'll get in with the Mog Fanatic. And we will play the Goblin Matron. I think we're going to try to get a War Chief. Yeah, let's grab a War Chief. And pass the turn. Call of the Herd. Okay. We hit a Naturalize. That doesn't do anything. Let's go ahead and play the War Chief. This allows us to Ringleader next turn. So this is just a version of the Rock with white mana. 4th mana, they can flash back this Call of the Herd. We have an answer for Pernicious Deed if they play one and cannot pop it in the same turn. Making white mana, okay. Alright, undoing it. A Vindicate to blow up the War Chief, okay. If they attack, we can at least swing back. And opponent is passing the turn, deciding not to attack. We hit a Piledriver, so let's go ahead and play that. And yield through the turn. A Sylvan Library, we have an answer for that. The question just becomes, is that worth it? I think we're just going to play the Wooded Foothills and play this Ringleader, try to refuel. They don't have enough mana to be able to play and pop a Deed in the same turn, so let's grab a Mountain. Play our Ringleader, try to refuel a little bit here. And we hit a Piledriver and a Siege Gang Commander. And then we will ship the turn. I could have gone in there. I probably should have, but... Alright, opponent kept no cards off of that. A Swamp, so they have Painless Black mana now. And just flashing back Call of the Herd. Alright. And opponent shipping the turn. That's totally fine. We hit a Mog Fanatic. Let's go ahead and play another Piledriver. And I think we are going to swing in with everything. See if we can take out one of these elephants. Lock in the Piledriver. They might be holding this other one back just in case we have the other one. No, they're going to block the Mog Fanatic. Well, we will ping them. Take out an elephant. Again, we could naturalize the Sylvan Library, but I'm mostly trying to save this for a Pernicious Deed, which I'm sure they have them in their deck. Alright, they did keep a card. They have white mana again. Another Gerard's Verdict. Well, we will bin a Siege Gang Commander and a Mog Fanatic. And another Call of the Herd. Okay. We hit a Goblin Matron. Well, let's go ahead and cast that. I think we want to grab a War Chief here. Let's grab a War Chief. Let's get another elephant out of the way. Actually, let's hold back for now. We'll pass the turn. We're in a little bit of a rough spot here. They are getting to the point where they can play and pop a Pernicious Deed to be able to wipe up our board, but they'll wipe up their board in the same time. And these Gerard Verdicts are getting very, very annoying. As I said, the Gerard's Verdicts are getting extremely annoying. Well, I think we might just naturalize this stupid Sylvan Library now. And a Tempting Worm, yeah, I don't think we're fighting our way through that. Opponent was able to just strip our hand way too easily there. So we are taking in all of the naturalizes. I think we are going to take out Sharpshooter, Tinkerer, think we're going to trim a Siege Gang Commander here, and I think we are going to trim a Mog Fanatic, and we're going to try something like this. Alright, we can try to be as disruptive as possible until we draw some stuff to do. We have a Naturalize to be able to get rid of an Engineered Plague, which I'm sure they're going to have. I think we're going to try this and keep it. We will play a Karplusan Forest and pass. Opponent mulligan to 6. Windswept Teeth from the opponent passes the turn. We hit a Wooded Foothills. We will play a Rishadan Port and pass the turn. A Gemstone Mine. Fetching with their Windswept Teeth. I am feeling a Gerard's Verdict coming here. Yep, well, you're going to gain a bunch of life here, opponent. That's fine. We will do our best to whittle our way through that as quickly as possible. We will play a Wasteland, take out the Gemstone Mine, and pass the turn. And then in their upkeep, we will port down the Plains. And opponent is missing land drops. I like that quite a bit. We can play a Mountain, and I think we're going to go ahead and play a Goblin Matron here. And we will go ahead and grab a War Chief. Opponent is still missing lands. I like that. We can play a Mountain. We will play the War Chief. They could have a Swords to Plowshares here, but at this point it's whatever. It gets a removal spell out of hand. And they do. Okay, that's fine. That gets a removal spell out of hand. Opponent is still missing lands, which is good for us. We hit another War Chief. Do you have another Swords to Plowshares? That looks like no. Okay. Alright, opponent is moving to discard. Bend a Call of the Herd. We have another Goblin War Chief, so we will play that. Get in with everything. We can still port down our opponent now. And then we are going to go ahead and port your Plains. And opponent's still missing lands. We're getting a little lucky here. Bend to Vindicate. Well, we will play a Pile Driver. We will get in. Attack with everything. They're down to 4. We will go ahead and port their land again. Alright, we got a little lucky that we were able to mana screw our opponent. I don't think it's going to go that way in the next game. But that said, I think we're going to run it back. Well, we can try to go for the mana screw plan again, so I think that's what we're going to do. And opponent already mulliganed to 5, so hopefully they don't just have a bajillion lands in their hand. Hopefully every land is non-basic. A Windswept Teeth. Well, that doesn't do anything for us at the moment. We hit a Goblin Lackey, so let's play a land, play a Goblin Lackey, pass the turn. A Plains, I'm assuming... No, I was about to say, I'm assuming we're seeing a Swords to Plowshares, but that is not the case at the moment. A Llanowar Waste. They could Gerard's Verdict us here, but no, it's a Birds of Paradise. Okay. That is fine by me. We hit a Forest. Well, we will play Wasteland. Take out your land. See how badly you want to save your Birds of Paradise here. The answer is not even a little bit. Alright, Lackey resolves. We are going to... We have 6 cards in hand. I think we're just going to put a War Chief into play for now. I don't want to move to discard and have to discard a bunch of cards if we do hit good off of this Goblin Ringleader. And this will decrease the cost of our spells in the future. A Call of the Herd. Okay. A Gem Palm Incinerator. Well, we will play Wooded Foothills. And unfortunately, I think we just have to pass here. Because we cannot kill the Elephant token with the Gem Palm Incinerator yet. Opponent hits another land. They're playing around the second Wasteland very well. They could just flashback this Call of the Herd, which if that's what they're doing, I'm actually kind of okay with that. Yes, they're just flashing back the Call of the Herd. That's actually mostly fine. And they're getting in with one of the Elephant tokens. That's okay. We will let that happen. And then we will go fetch out a Mountain, because we don't really want to draw any more lands at this point. And we find a Goblin Matron, so let's go ahead and play a Karplusan Forest. We will play Goblin Matron. Let's go ahead and grab... I think we're actually going to grab our Goblin King here. And we will pass the turn. And opponent has another Bird of Paradise. Okay. And is getting in with both of the Elephant tokens. Okay, we can take 6. That's mostly fine. And a Flesh Reaver. When this creature deals combat damage to a creature or opponent, this creature deals that much combat damage to you. Okay. That is interesting. We hit another Goblin Lackey. Well, let's play a Forest. Play a Goblin King. And that is a 4/4? So I think we are going to go ahead and just kill this now. We drew another ringleader, so let's get in. If they had a removal spell, they would have used it then. Do they value their mana? No. Okay. That is fine. Hit them to 9, pass the turn. 2 cards left in hand. We can go to 3 off these elephant tokens. That's fine. Ooh, holding 1 back. Okay. Because they had another Call of the Herd. Okay. We have a Rishadan Port. So what can we do here? We could Ringleader for 3. And we had a Pile Driver and a Ringleader. We can play a Port. We can play a Pile Driver. Or we can just port down a land and make sure they can't Call of the Herd again. We can get in with the War Chief and the Ringleader. I think we actually want to get in with this Goblin Pile Driver here. And if we turn everything sideways, both of these have to block. Because if we just turn this sideways, I think they're dead. Blocking is for... math is for blockers. That's the term. They at the very least have to block this Goblin Pile Driver. Alright, they're going to block it with the birds. And they're going to block the Goblin King. This may have been a mistake, but we will see. Alright, they block these 2. That lives. They take 7 and we lose? Yeah, I think that means we lose, because they're only going to take 7. Or no, this is 8. They go to 1. They go to 1, and we are dead on the crackback. Okay, good game, opponent. On to the next round. Won the die roll. This only has 1 mana. We have to ship this. This does nothing until turn 3. But if our opponents have a ton of interaction, it kind of does its own thing. I think we're going to keep this, but the forest back for now. And we're just going to be disruptive until turn 3. Green mana into an exploration. So some kind of land style deck. Sarcomancy. Create a 2/2 zombie token at the beginning of your upkeep. If there are no zombies on the battlefield, this deals 1 damage to you. Okay. Interesting. Well, now I wish I had that green mana for the Naturalize, but I do not think our disruptive game plan is going to particularly work here. White mana, more black mana, but nothing to do with it. Okay. Or second main phase, another Sarcomancy. Okay. We hit a Wood of Foothills. We can kill a Sarcomancy, but that doesn't really do anything at the moment. So we're just going to play the War Chief and pass the turn. Our plan is to get the Siege Gang Commander online and then try to kill all of their zombie tokens. A Wasteland, well, let's play that. Play a Siege Gang Commander. And then our plan is to try to kill their creatures with the Siege Gang Commander so these Sarcomancy start doing damage to them. Argothian Enchantress. Okay, so they're an Enchantress style deck. Got it. Okay, so it does look like we're going to be able to kill the zombies and have the Sarcomancy start dealing damage to them. I'm a little concerned about this Enchantress, though. Sack a Goblin, kill a zombie. Sack a Goblin, kill a zombie. Play a Wooded Foothills. And then get in. And then pass the turn. And the Sarcomancies are going to start dealing damage to them. I'm a little worried about them popping off with this Argothian Enchantress. There's a Sarah Sanctum, so they have a shitload of mana now. Sterling Grove. Okay. So we need them to pop that or kill it for this Naturalize to do anything. Wild Growth. Are they going to pop the Sterling Grove in response? No. And Enchantress's Presence. Okay. So our plan is to just go wide of this and kill them. And we are going to go ahead and crack this Wooded Foothills to go grab a forest. We hit a Karplusan Forest. Well, we will go ahead and play Goblin Matron. And I think we want a Goblin King here. Or, hold on, is a Goblin King more damage, or is another... No, we can't cast another whatchamacallit here, so we are going to go grab the Goblin King. I was going to say, see if we actually can go ahead and grab another Siege Gang Commander. I guess we could, but I still don't think that's quite enough damage. We are going to go ahead and blow up the Serra Sanctum, and then play a Goblin King. This is going to force them to block with the Argothian Enchantress. Otherwise, they're just dead. They might actually still be dead even through the Argothian Enchantress. I think they're dead even through the Argothian Enchantress here. No, they're at 1. They have 1 card in hand, 1 draw, but they do have a draw engine. They are sacrificing their Sterling Grove. Failed to find an enchantment? Okay. Oh, they were just dead to the Sarcomancies anyways. I completely forgot about those. Okay. Up against some kind of Enchantress deck. Well, we are absolutely bringing in the Naturalizers and all that stuff. Sharpshooter can go away. Tinkerer can go away. Honestly, I think Incinerator can go away. I think 2 Incinerators can go away. We have other ways to get through all of the zombie tokens they can produce. And we really just want to be able to blow up all of their enchantments, so let's try that. Alright, we have a Naturalize, we have a Pile Driver, we got some shit to do, so I think we're going to go ahead and keep this. And opponent went all the way to 5. Brushland into a Miri's Guile, so we're going to have some selection here. And we will play a Wooded Foothills and pass the turn. And a Wild Growth on their land. Are they missing lands? Yes. So I think we're going to crack this, go find our forest. There's actually something to be said about killing this Miri's Guile. Just so they can't select their cards. We know they don't have lands on top, so I think we are going to go ahead and blow that up. Because this only gives them additional green mana. We know they don't have any other lands on top of their deck at the moment. An Exploration is fine. We know they don't have any additional lands. And they've still got to get through 1 more card before they even have a possibility of drawing a land. Or hear me out here. We play a Goblin Pile Driver, and then we play a Wasteland and obliterate our opponent. And pass the turn. Alright, we hit a Goblin Matron. I think we're going to go ahead and crack this Wooded Foothills, grab another mountain, play a Matron. We are going to go ahead and grab a War Chief here to make the rest of our spells cost less. And then we're going to get in with the Goblin Pile Driver. They are drawing live now. They don't know what the top of their deck is. There is a chance for a land here. And they did, a Serra Sanctum. So a pretty good land, but it does only produce white mana at the moment. And we hit a Rishadan Port, which I like quite a bit. So because of the fact that they only have, well, they've only got 1 white mana at the moment, I think we are going to go ahead and play the War Chief. Just get our damage in as quickly as possible here. We could, okay, they have a Swords to Plowshares, that's fine. I was going to say, get in a bunch of damage here, but they did nerf quite a bit of it. Since they only have 1 mana, and it's only white, most of their setup cheap stuff is going to be green. So until we see green mana out of them, the Serra Sanctum isn't actually doing a ton. And opponent scoops it up. Okay, missing land drops takes them down. On to the final round. All right, final round. Playing for the positive record. Okay, I don't hate this. We can go ahead and keep this. Turn 1 Lackey into turn 2 Pile Driver or Mog Fanatic, depending on what our opponent's doing. A Mountain into a Seal of Fire. Okay, well that's a little annoying. So we're up against Sly or Burn, which unfortunately is very good against what we are trying to do here. So we will start off with a Mog Fanatic, so we don't really care if it dies. We can naturalize the Seal of Fire to force the pop on it. Wooded Foothills into a Mog Fanatic of their own. We hit a Mountain. Let's go ahead and play a Mountain. We will offer up this trade, and then we will plan on naturalizing the Seal of Fire to force the pop. Okay, they're willing to make this trade. I'm okay with that. And then we will try to pop the Seal of Fire. Crack to find another Mountain. So is this actual Burn or is this Sly? A Mistress Factory, okay. Alright, we are going to go ahead and pop the Seal of Fire now so that we can get down probably our Lackey. So then we can port down the Mistress Factory. And we'll play the Goblin Lackey. And we will pass the turn. We will port them off of some amount of red mana. I meant to do that in the draw step. I did screw that up. They're activating the Mishra's Factory. Okay, that's fine. If they're just attacking with the Mishra's Factory, I am A-okay with that. Yes, they are just attacking with the Mishra's Factory. That's fine. I will not block. I will take 2. That means I don't have to port down the Mishra's Factory to be able to get in with this Goblin Lackey, unless they have something to be able to do here. Okay, Volcanic Hammer. Interesting. We hit another land. Well, let's go ahead and cast Ringleader. Get a little refuel going on. Ringleader, Warchief, Siege Gang Commander. I like that quite a bit. We will get in. There's no point in staying back to block the Mishra's Factory at the moment. Barbarian Ring. Okay. Activating the Mishra's Factory. Getting in. We get to our turn. We hit another mountain. Well, let's play the mountain. Play a Warchief. We will play a Goblin Matron to be able to block. And I think we're going to go ahead and grab a Goblin King here. And we can get in with Ringleader and Warchief. We're going to hold back the Matron to be able to block. So this looks like this is just straight up burn, which I feel like is going to be pretty tough. And opponent is going to incinerate our face. Okay, they seem to think they can kill us here. But they don't know about this pile driver that's going to come down. That's going to be a shitload of damage. Activating the factory. Okay. I will block with a Matron. Another Barbarian Ring. 2 cards in hand. Into a Volcanic Hammer at face. They need 1 more card to turn on Barbarian Ring. And we hit our Karplusan Forest. So we've got 6 mana. That actually is enough to Siege Gang Commander plus Goblin Pile Driver, which should be enough for lethal. Oh, I apparently overpaid. Oops. Make a bunch of Duders. Make a Goblin Pile Driver. We will lose the mana because I overpaid. And I am going to leave 1 of these tokens back to block this Mishra's Factory. Unless the opponent does something now. They have something in their hand they wanted to cast. Alright, they're letting us get to combat. Get in with everything here. We're leaving back 1 Goblin for blocking duty. They're going to Lightning Bolt the Pile Driver. That is fine. This is also why we left 1 back, because if we didn't, they'd be able to kill us here with the Workshop plus the Barbarian Rings. So depending on what they drew here, if they have a removal spell for this Goblin, they theoretically have us dead here. Or if they found another burn spell, which it looks like they did. Yeah, incinerate to face, and then they can double Barbarian Ring us. Oh, that was super close. Okay. So up against what our opponent's doing, we don't really have much for what they're trying to do here. We could bring in some Tormod's Crypts to shut down the Barbarian Rings, and maybe that's worth it. It also shuts down Pyro or Lavamancer. So let's bring in the Tormod's Crypts. I think we're going to get rid of Tinkerer. I think we're going to get rid of Sharpshooter, and we're going to trim 1 Siege Gang Commander and try something like that. This hand does absolutely nothing. We have to ship it. This hand likewise does nothing. We're shipping that. I mean, I guess we're keeping this and binning the Wastelands. I don't like it by any means. Or we've been Matron in a Wasteland. We've been Matron in a Wasteland. I don't like this hand at all. It does literally nothing. Maybe we should have tried to go even deeper, but going further than 5 feels really, really bad. Bloodstained Mire cracks it. Grabs a mountain into a Grim Lavamancer. We hit a Karplusan Forest, so I guess we'll play that. Unfortunately, their Grim Lavamancer is probably going to be online here extremely quickly. And it's just going to be able to shoot down all of our stuff super quick and easily. I thought about bringing in the Pyrokinesis to be able to deal with stuff like this. Like, yeah, their Lavamancer's already online. I need something like a Mog Fanatic to be able to kill this. A Cursed Scroll, okay. That is a mountain. Well, I guess we'll force them to pop their Lavamancer targeting this Goblin King. They're also very easily able to empty their hand to turn on Curse Scroll. Yep, hitting the Goblin King. At least that clears out their graveyard for the moment. A Mishra's Factory. We have an answer for that, so I'm not super concerned about that at the moment. However, it does turn on their Lavamancer. And a Goblin Vandal. Destroy target artifact. Okay. Well, we hit a Lackey. I think we're going to play the Wasteland and then play Ringleader here. Try to refuel. See if we can just overwhelm what's going on. That was disappointing. Just a Ringleader off of that. I can get in an attack, but I think I'm going to hold it back for now. Unfortunately, this thing's playing defense. And they're going to bolt our face. Okay. Yeah, I think this one's probably essentially over already. We unfortunately just had to mulligan way too deep, and their Curse Scroll is about to be online. Like, if they have any 1-mana burn spell, they can already turn it online and kill this Ringleader. Volcanic Hammer to face. Grim Lavamancer is now online to be able to kill the Ringleader if they wanted to. And they are going to kill it. Okay. Yep. And then we will take one from the Goblin Vandal, and they have an active Curse Scroll online now. Well, we'll play a Mountain. We will blow up their Mishra's Factory. And we will play another Ringleader. Hopefully this one hits a little better. Okay, this is a straight 4, and it's got a removal spell in it. And then we are still going to hold back on D here. They can upkeep Curse Scroll, but they decided not to. A Mog Fanatic, okay. So they can ping me, activate Grim Lavamancer to kill the Ringleader. Which, it looks like that is what they're doing here. Hopefully we can stabilize from here, but this Curse Scroll is still a thing. Alright, Goblin Welder gets in, hits us to 10. We hit a Goblin Lackey. We will play a Lackey. Play a Lackey. Play a Lackey. And Incinerator to kill the Grim Lavamancer. However, we are taking one in the process to do this. And we hit a Matron, and we will pass the turn. I am very worried about this Curse Scroll, unfortunately. Hopefully they... Nope, they are going face. What is the card in hand? A Fire Blast, so that's a guaranteed 4 damage. They are getting in with the Vandal. I will block that. We have to pile on a shitload of damage very quickly here. That is a Matron. We will play a War Chief, play a Matron, and I think with this, we are going to go ahead and get a Pile Driver. We get in, attack with everything. The first one we will put in a Pile Driver with. The second one we will put in a Goblin Matron with. The Goblin Matron will go ahead and grab a Siege Gang Commander. They have a minimum of 4 damage on board right now. If they have any 3 damage burn spell, I'm just dead. Seal of Fire is 2. Volcanic Hammer into Fire Blast, and we're dead. Okay, that was rough, to say the least. And now they're just going for overkill for some reason. Yeah, there's a Fire Blast. Okay, real rough end there. But yeah, that's Goblins in Premodern. I'll address it all in the wrap-up then. So I'm going to be totally honest. I honestly really didn't enjoy playing Goblins in Premodern. I like the Legacy version of the deck, but the Premodern one honestly just feels kind of lackluster to me. I know it is one of the premier decks in the format, and it's definitely proven it has power. And part of it could just be I'm not familiar with the deck and the play patterns as well as I am with the Legacy version, but it just didn't feel particularly good, especially with the amount of black and red removal I'm seeing in the format at the moment. And I almost feel like we kind of have to sit here, not do anything, and then kind of just try to flood the board all at once to overwhelm the opponent's removal. But that's just my experience. Like I said, it could just be my unfamiliarity with the deck. And overall, I just felt like I was struggling way more than I thought I would, considering I was playing one of the top decks in the format. But when it did get to do its thing and we did kind of get to start popping off, it did feel really good. Being able to refuel with Goblin Ringleader feels great. However, as you saw, we whiffed quite a few times, so there is definitely some inherent variance in the strategy. But after playing through the meta with it, I can see why this is a strong deck. It's just simply not my style of deck. And I think that's what it came down to why I didn't really enjoy playing the deck that much. That being said, though, if you want to do well, and this does seem like the type of deck that you would enjoy, I would give this deck a thumbs up. I just don't think this deck is for me. Anyways, that was Goblins in Premodern. Honestly, I hope you had more fun watching than I did playing. I will catch you all in the next video. And as always, stay salty. Play any of the decks you see on this channel with a Mana Traders rental subscription. With a variety of tiers to fit any budget, Mana Traders lets you play whatever you want in whatever format you want. Use code DasSourKraut at checkout and become a better player today. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. They are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that, go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope you all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.